Hello, my name is Kevin Good, and I will be teaching your son or daughter in a course called Business Fundamentals for the first semester of the school year. The purpose of this video is to give you a little bit of information first about me as a person, a little bit of my personal background, and then the second portion will be the topics that we're going to cover in this class so that you have an idea of really what the substance of Business Fundamentals is all about. I'm not going to get into any of the procedural or expectation type items in this video. That information has been posted to Progress Book, and you can certainly take a look at that there. And if you ever have any questions throughout the semester, certainly send me an email, and I will most certainly get back with you as quickly as I can. So we'll start here with this slide and just give you a little bit of my personal background. I graduated from Brecksville High School in 1984. And don't get mad because I didn't say Brecksville Broadview Heights High School, because the name was Brecksville High School in 1984. I'm happy they added Broadview Heights to it because I actually grew up in Broadview Heights. I currently live in Brecksville with my wife of 31 years. She is also a teacher. She teaches fifth grade STEM in Greenbrier Middle School in Parma. I have three grown children. Two of them are married. One is in his fourth year at the University of Cincinnati, studying chemical engineering. Speaking of universities, I graduated from my university in 1988 with a Bachelor of Science in Business, and I majored in accounting. Worked as an accountant for Ameritrust and then merged with Society Bank. Did that for about 4 years, and that's when I left the banking or accounting profession and started teaching. I did have a quick stint in the summer of 2012 working in the IT training department for Cliffs Natural Resources. Great experience. And I began teaching in Brecksville in 1994. Now, to the nuts and bolts of the class and the course itself. We've just began the chapter on economic systems, and we started talking about things like satisfying wants and needs, talking about the economic resources, your capital, your human, your natural, and how all those things come together. We're going to look at economic choices, different types of economic systems that exist around the world. And then, of course, we can't talk about economics without talking about supply and demand. In the next chapter on economic activity, we're going to look at how economic activity is measured. And the most known way to measure it is through GDP, or gross domestic product. So we'll be breaking that down a little bit, and we'll be looking at how economic conditions change. And what we do try to do, and I'll kind of add this in as a little insert, is we try to bring what's currently happening in the world into this classroom. So what we teach is the main topics doesn't change from year to year, but how we relate it to what's going on in our current world, we keep it current. All right. Then we go into a chapter on international business. We look at some of the very basics. We look at the global marketplace. We look at international business organizations. Then we move on to social responsibility of business and government. And we just kind of break that into two sections: social responsibility for business and their ethical behavior. And then we look at that from the government side with regards to protection activities and regulation. Forms of business ownership. The textbook that we use really only tackles the three main ones. So sole proprietorship, a partnership, and a corporation. We break each one of those down and we talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. But then we go into some of the probably more used types of business ownership, such as LLCs, LLPs, S corporations, things like that. And again, we break down some of the advantages and disadvantages of those types of ownership. And then we finish up with a chapter. Of course, we have to have this in a business fundamentals class: entrepreneurship and small business management. What does it take to become an entrepreneur? What are some of the common characteristics of those? Obviously, risk taker is at the top of everybody's list. We look at small business basics. We look at business plans, and how do you start a small business? So I hope that gives you a good overview of what we're going to do. Again, if you have any questions at any time during the semester, I'd be happy to reply to an email at any time. So thank you, and let's all have a great year.